Okay, we are back to help out you crazy people who are
Come
in the
on,
one quarterback community. We
talk it
love
up.
you. We love you. So we're here to bring you another one quarterback rookie mock draft for Dynasty rookie drafts. This is post combine, so let's see what has changed. Obviously, keep in mind that some of the players that you might love may have not gotten the draft capital in the mock draft that we're using for landing spots. But
Exactly.
do us a favor, drop a like if you like one quarterback content,
Come on.
because we know. Well, let's see how we do. Let's see how we do
Yeah,
here.
see how we go.
Subscribe if you like Dynasty content. I want you to comment down below who is your biggest riser or faller in one quarterback formats. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll give you the 101. I feel like I had it last, but I can't really remember, so I'll
Yeah.
give you the 101 here.
I can't remember. I think we all know who this is going to be, and that's going to be Bijan Robinson. In this mock draft, he does go to the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Shout out to all you DeAndre Swift owners. Unlucky. It's unfortunate, but this is a very, very big possibility for Bijan going here. So I'm happy to take him here, as always.
Yeah, not really much that you need to say. Bijan absolutely tested better than we thought he would, and he's the real deal. As we've been saying, he's the unquestioned 101 in all formats. So I love it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the Lions are a great landing spot. I've been worried about Swift for a while. This is just an example. I mean, it could not be Bijan. It could be a different player. But I just think if it's Jamal Williams, if it's not, like, I don't see him being this workhorse that you guys want him to be. But
I get you.
in this mock, it's true.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but hopefully they move Swift then. They have to.
I don't think so. Why would they? He's so cheap. You just keep him and then he's a free agent.
That's so annoying. I'd be so upset if I was Swift, but maybe it's not the right time.
Yeah, there's just no value in the trade market. All right, at the 102, I said this for quite some time. You probably got annoyed about me saying this, but to me, there is only two can't miss prospects in this class: Bijan Robinson, Jackson Smith and Jigba. And for all those people out there who were worried about Jackson and how he would test, he doesn't need the long run speed to absolutely be a dominant wide receiver in the NFL. Okay, you might think he's just a slot. Everyone's welcome to their own opinions. I think he can play anywhere. I just don't think we had the opportunity to see him play anywhere. But he came out at the combine, and yeah, he didn't run the 40, but not a single wide receiver. I'm saying from my perspective, with my eyes, ain't nobody can hang with this guy in this class. For me, he is clearly above the rest. He's in his own tier for me. So I'm going to take him here. He goes to the Texans, and the Texans, by the way, I'll just say it now, they drafted CJ Stroud. We've been saying this. The Texans need to draft CJ Stroud and then Jason at the 12. This mock finally does it, which is beautiful. We love to see that.
French kiss.
So I'll take Jason here at the 102.
Yeah, makes sense. I love the pick. All right, I'm at the 103 here. I think we all know who that is. If you've been following our channel, I do have Quentin Johnson as my wide receiver 1. He does land with the Baltimore Ravens in this mock draft, which is kind of exciting but also worrisome with all the talks of Lamar Jackson currently in what he's been going through. But if the Baltimore Ravens can come to a conclusion in a meeting point with Lamar, I'm liking Lamar and Quentin together. Lamar, Quentin, Rashad Bateman, bobbing like I'm Dobbins in the backfield. It feels really exciting. And he didn't come in as big as we thought. He was originally 6'4", 215 pounds, and now he's 6'3", 208. So it feels he's like a little bit lighter, a little bit more agile, a little bit more, I guess, fluid, you can say.
Yeah.
Coming in at 6'3", 208. So I like him going here at the 103.
His film felt more 6'2", 6'3" than it did 6'4". Like the way he moves in the open field is very special.
Yeah.
I worry, man, about any wide receiver going to Baltimore now. I just worry about any of, like, just being honest. I was burned by Rashad Bateman. I was like, nah,
I get you.
It's fine. I love this
you.
talent. And then, but to be fair, a lot of injuries occurred there. So
yeah.
All right, at the 104, give me Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
I personally believe that he tested beautifully. Ran the 4.36, looked incredible in the drills. Weighed in just under 200 pounds. If you watch the combine, you probably saw the graphics comparing him to Jamal Charles. I've mentioned that before as the tippy top ceiling for this player.
Mm-hmm.
My more realistic comps were DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones. I think he fits those comps really well. I would argue, you might disagree with me, that he's even a better player than those guys. Like his ceiling absolutely can be a better player than those guys, but we will see. So I'll take him here at the 104, and I'll feel really good about it.
Yeah, I like the pick. Let's stay with the running back room. Going Zach Charbonnet here
Beautiful.
at the 105. In this mock draft, he goes to the Miami Dolphins, and we keep saying all offseason this is probably one of the best landing spots for him to go. Any running back really to go to Miami Dolphins. Not the speedster guy we expect, Miami to take, but the big bulldozer guy that can block, punch it in the goal line when you have those short yardage. So I like Zach Charbonnet here to the Miami Dolphins.
I think Charbonnet is an all-around 3-down work. I think he is. I've said James Conner before. That was my comp. I think he's a better version of James Conner.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at what James Conner did in Arizona. That's, I feel like, the kind of work you're going to get for Zach Charbonnet in Miami. Think about how many times they score touchdowns there with those wide receivers. He would have so many opportunities there.
Yeah. It would be wild.
You go Charbonnet at the 5. So here's the deal. With my next pick, well, actually, from the 105 onwards in one quarterback formats, I got a 3-way tie.
Okay.
Like right now, I got a 3-way tie between Zach Charbonnet and 2 wide receivers.
Right. Okay? Which I think I know who those wide receivers are. Got to pick and choose.
So
pick your poison.
They're so
here.
close in my rankings. I'm going to pick my poison here. My poison is going to be Jordan Addison here at the 106.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I understand. And I agree with people out there who are saying this. It was a bad combine. It was a really, really bad combine. I don't disagree with that one bit. He lands with the Buffalo Bills here. I think this is a beautiful spot. I am going to trust a little bit more of the film than I am just him running in pajamas. Just so you guys know, the combine accounts for about 10% of our scouting grade. So it did move him down a little bit, but I am still going to trust the body of work at Pitt, at USC. The film, the ability to separate. We've talked about him before not being in the same tier. You and I, Badake, we've talked about him before not being in the same tier as those top 2 guys. That's been our stance since day one. But I still think that I'm going to take him here. He went to the Bills in the first round in this mock draft. Stephon Diggs on the other side. And how are you going to cover these guys? Both very good route runners. Obviously, Diggs one of the best in the NFL. So I'll take Addison here at the 106. But yeah, I agree that he underperformed. But I'm not just going to write a player off just because of how they do at the combine.
Exactly. And I think we need to keep that in mind when we moving forward, because if they do get the draft capital, then I think the conversation is right back where it all started, right? So keep that in mind, guys. All right, I'm at the 107 here. I think the other guy Zach was talking about was another wide receiver who is also kind of around here at the 106, 107 area for me, and that's Zay Flowers. He goes in the first round at the 25th pick to my New York Football Giants. And you're probably wondering, they got Wan'Dale, right? Wan'Dale's probably a little bit bigger, same build.
Yeah.
Zay is a better wide receiver. But let me bring you some insight. I'm a Giants fan, so I listened more into it. The reason why they got Wan'Dale when they got Tony was because Tony couldn't play from, in their eyes, every position, which I would disagree. When I say every position, out wide in the slot, maybe in the backfield, which I completely disagree with in that scenario. And when they bring in Wan'Dale, they liked how versatile he was playing anywhere. And I think that's going to be the exact same thing if we do go for someone like Zay Flowers.
Okay.
It's not about size. It's about how they can separate and how much versatility they have. So would that make sense in our eyes? Probably not. But once again, if Joe Shane and Brian Dable trust somebody like Zay Flowers and Wan'Dale, I'm riding with it. So give me Zay at the 107.
I like it. Okay. I'll be honest. At this very point, from the 108 onwards, I feel like you could choose 5 players, genuinely. So maybe this is a teardrop. I don't know.
This probably would be the teardrop, yes.
Potentially. But, of course, if you're in tight end premium leagues, this player is going to go much higher than this. But the next player I'm going to be drafting at the 108, and, we're doing non-tight end premium, will be Michael Mayer. He goes to the Washington Commanders with the 16th overall pick. Hey, the Commanders have a long history of good tight ends at the position, right? Logan Thomas for a year. But before that, think about Chris Cooley. Think about Jordan Reed. Like, there is a history of successful tight ends in Washington. We just haven't had one of those guys. And Michael Mayer is, I think, a perfect fit for this team. Now, there's a lot of weapons to compete with, but keep in mind, Curtis Samuel, his deal expires after this season. So it's Terry, it's Jahan Dotson, and Michael Mayer, kind of as this team builds. So I like Mayer. People out there telling you it was a disappointing combine. No disrespect, but I don't think they actually watched his film. I don't know. Like, you and I watching his film, we did not think he was going to come out and put up like a very quick 40 time, but this is
No.
a complete tight end. He's going to start from day one. He can help with blocking. He's a great receiver, incredible ball skills. So I'll put him here at the 108.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick here at the 108. I think it's a good pick, and he goes to your team here at the Washington Commanders. 109. Once you said, I mean, once again, you said a couple different plays you can go. I am going to go in, I would say the route I would probably normally go. I'm going to Josh Downs. He goes in the second round here. He goes to the New England Patriots with the 46th pick in the second round. You're probably thinking, they have Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is actually a free agent. So is this the replacement for Jacoby? Is this the guy that's going to be the true slot wide receiver for Mac Jones or whoever the quarterback is going to be with all these quarterback rumors of them moving on from Mac and maybe even getting somebody else? I'm not sure. But I'm not in love with the landing spot, but I need to respect it. I think the draft capital is there. I love the draft capital based off of the wide receivers that are available. So I'm okay taking Josh Downs right here. And he had a decent combine, didn't have the fastest 40 as we all expected him to. But
yeah, that was
four,
both him and Addison.
Yeah, 4.48, which is kind of disappointing. But if you go watch our wide receiver rankings for these rookies, they all kind of fall, at least in my eyes, in the same tier: Zay, Addison, and Josh Downs. And I don't think he should be falling any further than this in a one quarterback mock.
Okay,
it might be different when the NFL draft for sure.
So the way that these landing spots worked out for the NFL mock draft that we're using, there's a player that I love, and if he gets draft capital, I'm drafting him right beside Michael Mayer. And I think there's a legitimate reason to say that he might even be a better fantasy option in 2 or 3 years, right? Because personally, I don't think he's as complete as Michael Mayer, but I think he is a better route runner. I think he has just as good hands. He's much more sudden and quick. So I think he's going to be better after the catch. And that player is Dalton Kincaid. I'm going to take Dalton Kincaid here at the 110. He went to the Packers one pick before Michael Mayer. So with the 15th overall pick, the Packers grabbed Dalton Kincaid. Isn't that funny? They said, hey, we're not getting a wide receiver in the first round, but we'll give you a tight end who kind of is the hybrid guy. He didn't play much inline at Utah. This is a guy who was only playing football. He was a senior in high school and he started playing football.
Right.
And his ceiling is ridiculous. I think he can absolutely be like, think about what Greg Dulcich did as a rookie. I think Kincaid can do that, maybe even more. And this time next year or in 2 years, I feel very confident that he could be a top 6 to 7 option. So I'll take him here at the 110. I love the capital, and I like how he complements Christian Watson in that team over there.
Yeah. I was not expecting you to take Dalton. I kind of was hoping that you would go a different route.
You played the leverage game like I just did. Because there's technically someone ahead of him in my rankings, but I played the leverage game.
Yeah, and that's exactly who I'm probably going to be taking here.
No, don't do it.
Oh, I'm sticking with the tight end. Maybe it's not the same guy you're thinking of.
Okay.
But I do like the tight end position who did get decent draft capital. He goes in the second round. Okay. He goes to the Carolina Panthers. And that's Luke Musgrave, another guy that I think had a decent combine. Didn't go out and do all these crazy stuff, but the way he was actually, was he at the combine actually?
Yeah.
He was, right? Okay. For some reason I got confused.
Really well. Yeah.
For some reason I got confused with somebody else. But yes, he did test. He ran a 4.7, 1.54 split. So I think everything that he did there was really good. And he goes with the Carolina Panthers, who, by the way, takes Bryce Young, actually. Bryce Young falls to the 9th in the going to the Carolina Panthers. So I like them growing together, getting a weapon. Based on the draft capital and how this board is falling, in my opinion, I think I would take him here.
Okay, I will say I can definitely respect where you're coming from because I like Luke Musgrave. I think after those first 2 tight ends go off the board, just personal preference for me, there's a lot of running backs that I really think I like I'll prioritize over Luke, but I absolutely respect it. One of those running backs, which some people are going to disagree with, but he went in the second round to the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
All I want is for him to get 8 to 10, maybe 12 touches a game, be that satellite third down back, that weapon for this team. That is Devin A-Chain. He goes to the Cowboys. I'll take him here at the 112. Hey, drop some hate in the comments below if you don't like A-Chain. Honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised that he came in at 188. I didn't know if he would be 180. So I'm pleasantly surprised that he came in at 188. ran a 4.32. That's absolutely a guy who can run a 4.2, and somewhere in the 4.2s when he's comfortable. I like A-Chain. I'll take him here at the 112. I think he's, I'm thinking a James White role, prime Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
What Jerick McKinnon did for the Chiefs. That's the kind of player I want here.
Yeah. Okay. Devin. He was there. I just, how I feel about Devin. I just don't see him as high. I think the landing spot is decent, but they bring back Tony, so let's see what happens. I mean, if they bring back Tony, it kind of feels like they might have to bring back Zeke because I know that contract thing is
in this
weird.
scenario. I don't see why they would.
Yeah, for sure. In this scenario, 100% completely agree. All right, I am going to go with another guy here who is technically a little bit lower.
Second round, by the way. This is the second round.
We're going to the 201, a guy that is a little bit lower in my rankings, but I like the landing spot. Actually, there's somebody else. Don't love the landing spot, but in this scenario, I have to go with him, and that is Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker falls to the...
I was wondering why he was still on the board.
It's because of the landing spot, right? And
I love this landing spot. We've already heard Dalvin Cook could be moving on.
Right, and if Dalvin Cook does move on, and he is going to move on, Sean Tucker is going to be getting a lot of work in the backfield. We also saw how Dalvin operates. There's a pass-catching back as well in Sean Tucker. So if he comes in, I think it's pretty easy in my eyes that he's getting 10 to 15 plus touches a game. So I like Sean Tucker here. Once again, playing the leverage, hoping that you would go a different route, not earlier. That's why I took Luke here. But
I would, just being honest, I probably wasn't going to go Luke for a little while. There's a lot of running backs that I'm obsessed with here.
For sure.
Just being honest. Okay, the next one in my rankings, because I know you're not going to draft the other one that's available, would be a player who went in the third round to the Carolina Panthers. Had an incredible combine.
Come on.
Badake calls him Big Roscoe.
Big old Roscoe Johnson.
Rashawn Johnson. Okay, he goes to the Panthers in the third round. Clear pathway to opportunities there. This is your Deonta Foreman replacement for this team, right? Deonta Foreman goes to free agency. Rashawn Johnson. Let's see what kind of role he can carve out. I'm envisioning a Brian Robinson type of player here, so... Is this someone with top 5, top 12 upside at the position? Absolutely freaking not. No way. But, the ceiling would be Ramondre Stevenson. So I guess maybe. But there's like a 5% chance that happens. It's more likely Brian Robinson.
Yeah, more likely be Rob there. So, okay, 203 here for me. You go Roscoe. I'm going to go the wide receiver position, and that is Richie Rice. I like to call him Richie Rice because it's really hard for me to pronounce his name. So I'm going Richie Rice here.
Okay.
4.51 at the NFL Combine. He didn't have the top end speed that we all expected to, but he wasn't the slowest guy at the Combine either. And I think that's exactly where people were saying, hey, Rice is struggling here at the Senior Bowl. There's the speed there. He runs a 4.51, puts him right in the middle, not the slowest, not the fastest, has the speed, and he goes to the Green Bay Packers in the third round. Whether that's Aaron Rodgers and all the talks Aaron Rodgers could be leaving, or Jordan Love, and we're big Jordan Love believers here, I'm really happy with Rashid coming here. He steps up. He gets third round draft capital over Romeo Doubs, and he's going to be there with Christian Watson. So I like this.
Yeah, competing for that wide receiver 2 role with Romeo Doubs. Okay, so here I am at the 204, and there's a list of running backs that is like 6 deep. And depending on draft capital, I will draft them in a specific order. There is one running back that I probably would have already taken off the board by now, but I know that you're probably not going to draft him, so I'm just using leverage here.
I was going to actually continue talking.
So at the 204, I'd be surprised. You have so many people ahead of that guy. I would be surprised. Let's see. But at the 204, I'm going to go ahead and draft Kendre Miller, who goes to the Chicago Bears in the third round. Kendre Miller is a player that I like, maybe not as much as some of those people out there who have him as an RB3 or whatever, but I do like Kendre Miller. I think he's a really well-rounded running back, and I feel very confident that David Montgomery moves on in free agency in this scenario. You have Khalil Herbert, who probably retains his old role, and Kendre Miller stepping into that, let's say, 50-50 split that Montgomery had there. So I'll take Kendre here at the 204. And by the way, it goes to a team that runs the ball top 3 most times per game in the NFL.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you would go a different route there. I know I say, and this is one quarterback, so we have to remember I do have him a lot of people, but in this scenario, he goes to the Eagles in the third, and that's Zach Evans.
Come on, dude.
That is Zach
No way you're
Evans
doing
at the
this.
205. The Eagles get rid of Miles Sanders in this scenario. Zach Evans, I guess we could talk about his draft or his combine. Didn't really come in as what we thought he was going to be. He came in at 202. Zach has a scenario about Zach Evans probably saying that, he was probably trying to slim down to run the 40 to showcase his speed. Maybe got injured along the way. And if he does get this third round draft capital, which I am okay with, going to the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe this is a 1-2 punch here with Zach Evans and Kenneth Gainwell moving forward. And we kind of saw that being used with Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell last year. So I like this landing spot. I thought you would go with him a lot higher. I thought you were going to take him over Roscoe.
You've literally
personally.
never, ever drafted him. And there's a
think I
player
drafted
that
him
you are
once.
obsessed with that's still available. So I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
you
know that
drafted
you
him
would
once.
actually do this in a real draft, but
I'm
fair
obsessed
enough.
with somebody that's still available. Okay, maybe I'm overlooking. So let's see.
Yes. One of your favorite players had an incredible combine.
Mhm.
Here at the 206, I'm gonna get a little fun with this one, okay?
Okay.
I've said this before. Look, you and I had an hour-long debate on a live stream about this. If I'm going quarterback in a one quarterback format, I'm shooting for the absolute stars. Okay? I don't want a top 12 guy. I want someone who has the potential to be the quarterback one or a top 5 quarterback. And to me, in this class, that's Anthony Richardson. The risk is much higher in Superflex, so he is still my quarterback 3 in Superflex. But in one quarterback formats, I was saying this before the combine, and there's no reason for me not to say it now. Anthony Richardson falls to the Colts, so I'll take him here at the 206. Again, like I want to shoot for the stars if I'm going quarterback in a one quarterback format.
Sure. That definitely makes a lot of sense. Okay. In this scenario, I think I see somebody here that I'm going to take. I like this guy. Maybe this is the guy you're talking about. Maybe it's not. There is two guys that I like right now in the running back position, which I think you might go that route later. And I'm still trying to use my leverage since we all know how the one quarterback format works. I would personally be taking quarterback where Zach just took it after like 205, 206, 207. But now, I'm trying to use that leverage. I'm going to go Tank Bigsby, a guy that I really like. He goes in the fourth, and he goes to the Denver Broncos, right? I understand you're probably saying, hey, what happened to Devontae? Devontae is really struggling with injuries. This is a team that has the window, right? We don't know how bad and how that injury is going to be. And I said this earlier, and probably one of a lot of mock drafts saying, you know what? I can definitely see this team becoming a running back by committee and Javonte losing the opportunity that we all thought he was going to get with the draft capital before his injury, right? Because he was kind of that guy splitting carries with Michael Carter at North Carolina, and I think if they bring a bigger back that can punch it in, I know, and Javonte can be more of a versatile guy. Both guys can kind of do the same thing, 1-2 punch. I kind of like this landing spot, and once again, win now window, going there with Sean Payton, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think there's another running back on the board that it's very close between him and Tank, but I'll just say, I think in the third round he goes to the Texans. I think he absolutely becomes the 50% guy in this backfield.
Right.
That's Tajay Spears. I'll take Tajay Spears here at the 208. I think both Tajay and Tank really good options here. Really good options. Fell to spots where you can see a pathway for them to get opportunity in the NFL. Pick your poison.
Okay, so you go there. I thought you would still go another route. I'm going to go Izzy, my Brooklyn brother here. He goes to the Atlanta Falcons in the fourth, and that was a route that I thought we were going to go. We all know that. I think we can both say we both believe in Izzy over Tyler Algier. We believe in his speed, even though he didn't test in the combine, but the talent is there. We believe he can surpass Tyler Algier, and if maybe it'll probably be a 50-50 workload at the start, and then maybe he kind of takes over. Going here in the fourth, I really like that.
I think you and I have seen that differently on occasion, and I would say this might be one of those occasions. I don't think that, and look, I love Izzy. I've talked about him as one of my sleeper running backs, but to me, his pathway is much muddier, I think, than some of the other guys. But I would say Tajay and Abanikanda have just as big of a gap to climb with Algier and Pierce. That's just I think like very similar. So I'm going with the guy who had the earlier draft capital.
Right. Okay.
But
That's fair.
But yeah,
That's fair.
I don't think. I just think like I'm not saying Tyler Algier is the answer for them, the franchise running back, but I don't think he's going to be irrelevant if they draft someone like Izzy. You know.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. I guess we have to wait and see. If the draft capital was a little bit higher, are we more comfortable there?
So if Izzy goes in like the third to the Falcons,
Yeah. Does that change it at all? A little bit.
it definitely would change it. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm just going with the player that had more commitment from the team, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would agree. And I guess to kind of touch on Tajay, I guess maybe that's where we see differently as well. That's why I thought you would go Izzy, because I actually believe in Dameon Pierce a little bit more.
That's where we see different.
Yeah.
I think Pearson and Algier have just as much hold over their teams.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right now.
Fair.
Okay, at the 210, a lot of options here. There's a player I love, but you talked about it before. You liked his landing spot. I hate it. And I just can't take it. I like it's 5th round. So I'm not saying you like the draft capital, but you like the landing spot for that player. So I just can't take him here.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and I guess maybe we can just mention him. He did go, and that's Xavier Hutchinson. He went to the Falcons in the 4th, in the 5th. Excuse me. I just don't like the draft capital. I like the landing spot. The draft capital is not there where I think some other guys I would rather have over.
I don't like the draft capital, and I don't like the landing spot, so I'm going to steer clear there.
That's fair.
Okay, I'm going to take a player who was drafted in the 1st round. Still on the board, still available to me. And it's not a quarterback. It is actually Darnell Washington, who went to the Cincinnati Bengals at the end of the 1st round. I mean, what more does this guy need to do? Pretty good film. Balled out at the combine. Maybe he should have been taken even higher than this. Who knows? You know, in tight end premiums, he obviously would have. But I'll take Darnell Washington there at the 210.
Yeah, that's fair. I think this is where I will go my quarterback here. I'm going to go my QB1, CJ Stroud. Normally, I would go a little bit higher, but I know how Zach kind of plays this mock draft. So I'm really happy going CJ here. He does go to the Houston Texans. He does link up with Jackson Smith and Jigbo, who went at the 102 in this mock draft as well. So for him to kind of them both coming together, getting him at the 211, I'm really happy taking him here.
Yeah, I'll take Bryce Young next. He went to the Panthers in the 1st round. Honestly, you could take CJ Stroud and Bryce Young as early as 207 in my mind, behind Anthony Richardson. Pick your poison. These are all running backs that we really like, and in this mock draft that we found, they all got really good draft capital.
Yeah,
so
with really good landing
spots.
spots
Them in a 1 quarterback format.
Like Kendra to the Bears is really exciting. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think they all got really, really good landing spots. So the player I was talking about there for a while was Chase Brown. You love him. You've been touting this guy up, and he comes out, has an incredible combine. You don't draft him in the first 2 rounds of a 1 quarterback. Tell me what's up with that.
He went to the Giants. The Giants just franchise tag Saquon, and I just don't see a pathway of success there. And it's kind of like Jerome Ford, right? Like you go to a backfield that is solidified and it's dead. You love the talent, right? I just can't take him. I can't. Okay. I want to. I love that he's coming to my team as well. That's exciting, but no.
Yeah. I would say Xavier Hutchinson is on this list of players who could have been drafted. Chase Brown. I thought because you've been the one who has put respect on Jalen Hyatt's name. I thought you might do that again today. So
I don't love the landing spot. I think there's a specific type of wide receiver to go to the Titans. I don't think Jalen Hyatt's that guy personally. I mean, I like Jalen maybe to the Panthers. I like him, to the Chargers if that. But I'm not in love with the landing spot right now.
Okay.
There.
Okay, we also have Marvin Mims, who could have been drafted. I know you like Marvin Mims, and he went to the Bucks in the 3rd, so I guess that's tough. Cedric Tillman went to the Chargers in the 2nd. That's probably an oversight from both you and I. He probably should have been drafted. Kenny McIntosh.
Come on, baby.
Sam Laporta went to the Giants in the 2nd. Kenny McIntosh went to the Chiefs, I think.
Yeah, he went to the Chiefs in the 4th. Yeah.
So those could have been drafted. Tucker Kraft could have also been drafted. Tucker Kraft went to the Dolphins in the 3rd. Any other names you want to throw out there?
I think keep in mind Kayshon Boutte went in the 5th round of this mock draft to the Denver Broncos, fell
And
significantly.
He also destroyed his draft capital with that combine.
Yeah. I think that's about it, right? I mean, we can probably talk about some other people, but I think
that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much the big guys. Parker Washington to the Jets, who we like, and hopefully that's not the type of draft capital. I think you talked about Tucker Kraft going to the Dolphins, Bryce Ford Wheaton to the Cowboys, but yeah.
All right. That's probably it for today. So do us a favor, drop a like to show some support. Subscribe if you like Dynasty content. And I want you to comment down below what picks you like, what picks you don't like, who should have been higher, who should have been lower. Let us know, and we will see you in the very next one. You crazy one quarterback community people. All love.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.